Whew. Back. I think we're going to start in about 5 minutes. So, if you've got this part of the show, this is 5 minutes before start. So, this is the pre-show. You may notice the lighting a little bit different. I'm trying something different out. I'll save that. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay. Looks like we got a good status stream. Let's see if anybody shows up tonight. But got it updated, so you can go to the WordPress, petestechton.wordpress.com. Go to the live page. You can catch the live stream out there. So yeah, if you guys were expecting Buck tonight, Colton, I guess that's what that is a no-go. I checked with him, and but yeah, I talked to him, and yeah, he had a conflict. He was going home this weekend, so he's back in Gothenburg. But tentatively scheduled him for next week, so we'll get to that. I think that'll be a good show. So you get him back out here. I think we're going to start here in about a minute. Looking at the preview of the fries ad for tomorrow. Fries deals for tomorrow. I think it's 8:31, so we might as well start. This is Pete's Tech Den, show number 11. This is the show where we look at taking old tech that other people see as useless, past its prime, time to be replaced, and taking it and doing new and cool things with it, and then just in general doing all kinds of cool tech stuff on the cheap. And once in a while, we touch on ethical issues that we face when it comes to technology and how we use it. Okay, so show number 11. Probably noticed that been following the page, the YouTube channel, trying to get to the point where I'm not just, you know, living by the seat of my pants, just scooting by, just worrying about what's next week, what's next. Trying to start getting some of those shows planned out further in advance. As I mentioned, if you got the pre-show, change the lighting. You may see a little bit better lighting on me tonight. It's kind of cool. You you kind of want to be well lit. And basically right now, I'm using, I don't know what the bulbs are. It's, ceiling light, fluorescent. Fluorescence, that's what it is. Fluorescent lights. And then I have a little desk lamp over here just pointing at me to help catch some of the shadow, get rid of some of the shadows that I get from the fluorescence. But yeah, so talk about lighting on the cheap. Nothing expensive in that way. But yeah, so cool stuff. Sure that's staying in there. But yeah, so tonight, so I wanted to talk about some Windows 10, and then something I've been listening to stuff about and heard about stuff, and I've been thinking a little bit about because I deal a little bit with it with my job. With so Windows 10 and then computer security. But at work, I started off. I loaded up the Windows 10 technical preview. I think it was build 9926, I believe. On a computer we weren't really doing anything with, and just something allow me to mess around with it, get used to it, because got a feeling that we're probably going to see any students coming in with it on their computers. And so I just wanted to be familiar with it and know kind of the ins and outs of it so that I could tackle that issue and tackle that when it comes around. And then eventually decided to move over and actually install it on my work laptop, which I'm dual booting right now with Ubuntu and then, now Windows 10 technical preview. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that and first impressions. Some of those you got to understand. It's still a technical preview. The next build is supposed to be released in, I think, end of March. Which, is going to be bringing the new web browser is going to be in that, and I'm kind of excited. I think that's going to be big for them. Kind of potentially bringing trying to salvage their reputation in that area. on the market with web browsers and such as Internet Explorer. I mean, is that Internet Explorer's reputation has been destroyed in that area of the market. But yeah, so that's not in there yet. So as I was understanding, the technical period is going to be a little bit rough. But I've been messing around with it. It's kind of been kind of interesting. Some of it, especially, is the way I've been upgrading from Windows 7 to Windows 10. And so, especially on my work laptop, a lot of the programs basically, once they open up, except for like usually that top bar or whatever, um, where you let the X to close the window and stuff, looks very similar and basically exactly like. Oh, technical difficulties. Wow. I don't know what was going on there. It just all of a sudden lost connectivity. But so yeah, I was talking about things mashed together. There's usually at least a couple different ways to get to things, and like especially like the core settings, you have this like very much like Windows 8 settings, and then you can also get to the traditional kind of control panel, and so still kind of mishmash. I hope they kind of get that figured out and go to where it's just one, just one place. You go fix all your settings, and make it more of a unified operating system. Um, but kind of the three kind of big things that I was looking, the kind of the three big features. Well, there's really four. I mean, you bring back the start menu. And for the most part, I think it's not bad. I haven't done a whole lot with the tiles. I don't know. For the most part, I just kind of ignore them. Like, um, so I'm not sure whether how much I'll use that, but I probably try to play around with that some more next week. Um, so you bring back the start menu, which is great. Um, you've got Cortana, which I haven't really used because originally I installed it on. Just falling asleep. I originally installed it on a desktop, and so I didn't have a mic for it, so it wasn't going to be anything. And I mean, with it being in the office, we usually try to keep noise to kind of a minimum, unless you need to work on something a little bit noisier. So, um, but so haven't really messed much with that. Be kind of interesting. See, as far as I need to look, and we need to figure out whether there's like I don't know if there's a keyboard shortcut, for Cortana. Otherwise, like if you're always having to go down to the toolbar bottom and click on it, I don't know, I feel like that can get kind of clunky. Which actually, another point, they finally added in Windows the ability to do multiple desktops, which both Linux has had it for a while, and then uh, Macs have brought it out recently. And really, I think it was Mavericks when they really made it great, um, because they basically gave it the ability to where you have when you have like with a laptop, you got your built-in monitor, and then like I've got an external monitor hooked up, and so being able to like used to be where you'd have desktop one and desktop two, and both screens would have to be on desktop one or desktop two. They were basically connected to each other, so they couldn't do anything different. And Mavericks, they changed that so that they could go independent of each other, which is great. Which is one thing that, as of right now, the Windows 10 doesn't do. They're either on both on desktop one or both on desktop two. You can't mix and match. And then the other part is with the virtual desktops. It's for the Mac. I mean, the reason I like it so much on my Mac, my MacBook Pro, is that it is so natural because you can, you move to whatever desktop you want via the trackpad. You can do so much via the trackpad, and it makes it very natural to move from desktop to desktop and jump around. And right now, you really don't have it. Actually, I was just looking up here. I was looking for the keyboard shortcut for Cortana. Um, and oh my goodness, let's see if there's anything. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. That's one thing. I'll have to check some more. Maybe post something in the show notes. But also apparently you can to switch between the virtual desktops. Um, you basically the only way. I mean, you can either click the button on the toolbar, but then you're always going back to that. And that's I don't know. For me, it's like I just want to be able to do it and not have to be like, okay, I gotta go down, back. That just I don't. I mean, they do have a keyboard shortcut, but it's the Windows key, Control, left, or right, and so I feel like it. I feel like it's a great feature to have. Like, I feel like having multiple desktops is really nice. I mean, especially it allows you to push a lot of your apps, your apps programs, to go full screen and really utilize the space, and you're able to jump around and stuff. but I feel like it's got to be natural to jump around. Otherwise, you're just gonna stay on one desktop. You know, that's just the way it's gonna be. Um, so so was it Cortana, multiple desktops, start menu. What's the fourth one? I'm trying to think. Oh, the new web browser. That was the other big one, which hasn't come out. So I haven't seen that. Looking forward to trying that out when they do finally bring that out with the next build. Um, but I guess overall, I think it's still got some work to do um, on it. Um, still got, yeah, still got a lot to do on that. But again, there's still another build. I think there's at least another build before they come out with it. Um, but the big thing for us, in thinking about trying to maximize the tech that you have, is that when Windows 10 does come out, for what we're hearing, for about the first year, um, you're going to be able to upgrade from Windows 7, Windows point 1 to Windows 10 for free. And that's again what we're hearing. We'll see if it actually comes to happen. Um, I mean, for me, that's great because I can go to school, buy a copy of Windows 7 for $20. When Windows 10 comes out, boom, that basically becomes Windows 10. And it's like Windows 10 for $20. I mean, that's just awesome. But again, looking at, you get to upgrade to the newer operating system for free. So free is what we live on. That's why we talk a lot of Linux and stuff, because it's free. So it's kind of cool. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of Windows 10. I know the technical preview runs up. They said it expires. You can't use it. Your technical preview license after it expires October 1st. So I'm thinking they got to be releasing it probably around, I would think. I guess if they do, then I don't know. I feel like they gotta release it before then, because I feel like you're gonna want to release those first laptops with Windows 10 before school starts, because you're gonna want to nail that. You want to hit that. It's gonna be a big market for them. Although I suppose you could sell like laptops that are Windows 10 compatible with Windows 8.1 with and then you get the free upgrade to Windows 10 kind of a thing. So I don't know. Who knows? They haven't released anything dates wise, so we have yet to see. But that'll be kind of interesting. See when that comes out. But we'll see. There's got some more work to be done on it, as any beta does. I mean, if you're in the beta phase, you still got work to do. If you didn't, then why would you be in a beta phase? That doesn't make any sense. But so it's kind of the first topic. Keep track of time. Make sure. Trying to keep the show on track. But the second topic tonight was computer security. And it's because I was listening to was this other podcast, Home Gadget Geeks, and they were talking about security and particularly a vulnerability that's recently came out. Actually, it's another attack against that. Basically, making sure against the encryption that protects, you know, secure web browsing. So when you see that little lock, the HTTPS, um, but it's a really easy way to tell. It has, it has to do with the web browser, but you can. It's really easy to check and see if your web browser is vulnerable. You just got to freakattack.com. It's like the second week, a couple weeks ago, so a little bit old news. But hey, I'm running Firefox here and on the Mac, and it's secure. Let's see. I also got Safari. But yeah, so I was listening to them talk about it, and it's just kind of thinking through laptop security, and I mean, you got a lot of different things. I mean, that kind of fall under this the whole thing. I'm kind of thinking about some just because we're dealing with students bringing their computers in with viruses on them, and I mean that's another part of security is antivirus, and a lot of them have that, like the trial of whatever, usually McAfee, um, on the computer, and it's expired. Eh, and I've gotten some fairly potent viruses. I think has to spend time. Um, but it's really interesting because it's like just a good antivirus can prevent those kind of problems. And for most people who don't necessarily have that tech department where they can just take their laptop down and say, "Hey, can you clean this up for me?" Because a lot of businesses can't just do that. They've got a lot of other things going on. But preventing getting viruses can save you money, headaches, frustration. Uh, you know, as you click on a web page and ads start popping up all over the place. I mean, but and really, when you have antivirus, you can have, basically you kind of basically have two different kinds. You have ones that are basically ones that are a little more active, being, I guess, proactive, where they're trying to prevent you from downloading that virus. And then you have kind of the scanners, the passive ones that are looking to more deal with the virus once you've already gotten it. It's always good to have not just have one, because then maybe one will miss it, but the other one will get it. And sometimes you need three. It's like I was working on this, computer, and I ended up running 3 different antiviruses on it. I mean, 3 free ones. I had a Vast, which is kind of a mix between the active and the passive. Fairly decent. Then I used Malwarebytes, which is just a scanner passive, and then Spybot Search and Destroy, which is it's somewhere in there. It's mostly passive with a few there's like one slightly active feature. But, all three of them got different parts of the virus and eventually got rid of it, which was good. Um, but I mean, a lot of people though will put that password on their computer and maybe throw an antivirus on there and think it is, completely secure when there's really some other things that, you know, some of these things are that won't cost us money or will just cost us a little bit of money that we can do to make it more secure. Like simple things like encrypting your hard drive, which I really need to do. I guess some of this is just throwing my thoughts that I've been thinking as trying to work to secure things more. I mean, before I said, I was working on tightening up my Wi-Fi security, making that better, more secure, more flexible to kind of meet all the needs I need, all of my needs, the needs I need. I don't know what I'm saying. Um, but one thing I found is I've needed to, I guess what you do, you call, you know, get past passwords that have been forgotten or user accounts with passwords that, I guess you'd say, I don't know, virus writers have got created, viruses have created. Um, you kind of have to know how to get past those, account passwords. Which you would think wouldn't be. You think that password you put on your account, you think, okay, now my account is secure, and it's like, not quite as secure as you might think. Um, Especially if you get viruses on your computer. That's why antivirus is important. Um, but I found getting past them. I mean, when you have physical access, is fairly easy. Um, Granted, you just gotta not let um, people get physical access to your, your computer because bad things happen. But you can do things that help prevent getting that access. Um, Things like encrypting your hard drive. Um, Also, I found this kind of thing um, for the Mac. I don't remember whether it. See if I can find it again. I don't remember. And what it is it's a device that allows you to basically, it's kind of the thing, an idea, when this basically unlock the computer when this device is close enough and they like connect. And sorry. Um yeah, it's just for the iOS and Mac. But it's you can basically set it up in two different modes where either one, whenever it's nearby, the computer is automatically unlocked. Nope. You don't need to type in your password, nothing. Got it. Or you can set it up that for the computer to unlock, it's got that device has to be nearby, and then you also have to enter your password. And basically, what that does, it creates two-factor authentication um, for your computer. I mean, it's not. It's kind of, there's always a way around a lot of the security. It's just about making it more difficult, so that difficult enough that going after it isn't worth the person's reminder. And I've been looking at this device called it's just a Sesame 2. It's like $40, I think is what it is. And kind of going back and forth, thought about getting it. Then I was like, well, no, it's like nice to have, make the laptop more secure, but I'm not sure I really need it. But then, I had to hack my way past a max password. And I'm like, well, how do you go about doing this? And then Googled it, found it on the web, threw it. And I was like, well, my password, my computer really isn't as secure as I thought it to be. And so then I was like, I think I'm going to look toward more to getting this. I may not get this right away. I think I'll probably order one next month. The whole budget thing gets in the way of buying things. Because you're like, gotta stick to the budget. Gotta stick to the budget. But it was definitely something to do. Think about. I'm not sure. I haven't encrypted our hard drive on Windows. I may check into that and maybe drop that as a little note on next week's show. But on Linux is really to do when you're installing the software. You just do the LVM, say encrypt. It's got that option in the installation to encrypt. And then on Mac, let me just quick. On Mac, it's super easy to do. And shoot, let me just show you the never-ending window. Oh man, Mac just gave me a great reminder. Trying not to repeat what happened in show number 2, which if you haven't seen, you should go watch. Especially if you want to see somebody goof up on their podcast, because it just makes it great. But it's just security and privacy, and then file vault. And you turn it on. I think you have to set you either have access to a recovery key or your login password to kind of unlock it. But yeah, that is that. Fairly simple. The thing is that things like encrypting your password like that will help stop some of the things, some of the ways that I know of that you can get into that password really easily, because then that data is encrypted, and so it's not easy to get in and see what it is and edit stuff and change passwords. So it definitely makes it harder, which also means that you need to remember your password. Which something that kind of a whole security theme going on here. One thing that can be helpful with that is a password manager. Now I know some of my family, I think at least my dad and one of my younger sisters, uses Splash ID, which I haven't used. Right now, I don't know whether my brother still uses it, but I kind of still use it. KeyPass X was a nice one. Those both are kind of, I guess what you call passive storage, where you kind of, I mean, you still have to remember it, but you kind of you set up the one password for that, and then as long as you remember that, then you can get in and look and see, oh, that's my password. Okay, I can go type it in over here. One that I'm trying out, and I don't know, I'm still on the fence on whether I like it, is LastPass. For the basic manager is free. You get their little app on both Windows and iOS, Mac, and Linux. So basically, it works on basically your laptops, desktops, kind of stuff. But if you want to get it, use it on the mobile operating systems, then that's part of it. That's basically the mobile operating system. Doing it on your mobile device is their premium feature, which it's like they charge like $12 a year. It's like $1 a month, so not super steep. But I guess for me, like, it's kind of nice because you can get the extension for web browser, and then you basically type in. You have to, be logged into your LastPass in the extension, and then you can just say, I want this password and username, and it'll just autofill, which is nice because it, allows you to get in and out of stuff a lot easier. And then you could potentially, set stronger passwords that you don't necessarily have to remember, and makes it both easy and secure. I guess the one thing that kind of frustrates me is that basically you can only do the autofill stuff in wow, just lost my train of thought. Okay, you can only do the autofill within browsers. So if you're trying to enter your password in like on your phone in your banking app or any other app besides your web browser, you have to go back to your LastPass and copy and paste. It's basically the same as if you just had a passive storage manager that just keeps it internal. And so for that reason, it's kind of like frustrating. Because it's like I really want this to work everywhere, and it doesn't. So I don't know. I haven't quite made up my mind. There's also other ones out there that you can get, both free ones, semi-free ones, paid ones. I know Splash ID is paid too. I think that one you just pay one fee. You're basically buying the software. But I don't know. I mean, I was like, I've been using KeyPass X, because you can set it up to basically kind of doing the two-factor thing again. Which, I mean, if you can get it, two-factor is going to be more secure. So actually, I'll post up a link to a page that shows a bunch of the sites and services that you can do two-factor on. Because if you set that up, then you can increase that security level. But it's got that kind of a two-factor thing where you can set it up to where I have to enter in this password and then I have to supply this key file, which can be You can name the key file anything. You can put any extension on it, any name, whatever. You just have to know which one it is. And then so you can put it anywhere. So you can I mean, you can bury it in files, and it's just unless you know which one it is, it's going to be incredibly hard to find. The downside of that is if you accidentally delete that key file, there's no way to get back into your database. Which I have to say, I have found that out. I have accidentally now. Now I've got it backed up. But yeah, so it's kind of, it's kind of a scattershot. Just some of the things I've been thinking about in regards to, securing your computer. That I don't know. It's something that I kind of was thinking about. Thought I would fire my thoughts off to you. Hopefully, you found something useful in that rambling of thought. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what jump around from thing to thing to thing to thing. I don't know. But yeah, so antivirus, have more than one of them. Password manager. Make sure your browser is not compromised by the freak attack. Freak, that's what they're calling it. I don't know what it stands for, but basically, it's it can basically crack. It's basically cracking the encryption that they use for the HTTPS. So it's bad. So making sure that your web browser is not vulnerable if you're using it. And I mean, the biggest thing they said was to make sure to keep it updated, because I mean, companies are going to be sending out updates to correct that flaw. Just one step behind. But yeah, that setting up two-factor is always good. But it's definitely something I'm gonna be out there trying to, I guess, lock things down a little bit more, do a better job of it. It's just kind of something that's been thinking about it a little bit today, just because watch the podcast, and then kind of brought back some thinking about the thoughts I'd had from seeing how things that thought were a little bit more secure were not quite as secure as I thought they were, and trying to remedy that through some things, through things like encrypting your hard drive, setting up two-factor if you can. Trying to think of the other thing is making sure you have strong passwords. So no passwords that are password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Avoid those. But making sure that you're using uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, using symbols if you can. Make sure that you're not using them in the obvious ways all the time. I mean, trying to mix up how you use them, which ones to use, and stuff like that. Yeah, I think. Oh, and kind of jump back to Windows 10. I mean, if you want to, you can actually go out and download the Windows 10 technical preview. Mess around with it. Just probably load it on a machine that you're not necessarily. You may not want to load it on your actual production, your main computer. You may want to have like a second computer that you can mess around with. And if you can't do the things that you need to do, you'll be fine. It does have a way to roll back to whatever you had before that. So, and it gives you that option each time you boot up. It'll boot up and say, "Hey, do you want to go to Windows Technical Preview or do you want to roll back?" And so super should be. I haven't actually done the rollback, but it should be fairly easy to do that, or at least it appears to be. But yeah, I'll probably throw up a note. You just have to have a Microsoft account. It's like an Outlook account. And then you just have to you have to go through a process to sign up for the Windows Insider group, which anybody with a Microsoft account can do. And then you can download the preview and get ready to rock and roll with that. Explore it. If you have downloaded a technical preview, you should definitely shoot me an email at pdennert@outlook.com. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what your favorite feature is. What is the thing that you like the least about it? Also, if you have a favorite password manager, you should email me that too. Maybe we'll throw up a list of password managers or something on the website. We'll see what we get. As always, if you go out to petestechden.wordpress.com, at the top you should see the Amazon link, Amazon tab on the top menu. You click on that, it takes you to Amazon. If you anything, then if you go through that link, and everything you buy, get a small percentage. That, of course, will come back to me, and we'll use it to make the show better, buy stuff, and then eventually we might do some cool things that'll benefit you guys, you the listeners. But first, you have to buy things. I mean, it's not gonna make things any more expensive for you. It just sends a little kickback to us here. I guess not us, me. I'm only one person. I am not more than one person. We'll put it that way. But yeah, so that's kind of what's rocking and rolling. I think if I'm forgetting anything. I think that's gonna be in the show. A little bit shorter, but like I said, next week we should have Colton Man back on the show, and we're going to be talking some ethical, crazy stuff that happens. I think it'll be a pretty good show. And then we'll see if we can get back to PF Sense after that. I have to wait and see. Having a little bit of problems with it because they rolled out an update and it broke the content filter. I'm just having problems with this software because I have that, and then I'm trying to get Untangle and Sophos up and running, but both of them, for some reason, they designed their, the installer to only install from a CD. You can't do it from a USB. It just like automatically goes and looks for the install file on the CD drive, just automatically, even if it's on a USB. It's like, come on, people. Frustrating. So I have some discs on the way. Hopefully they'll get here soon, and then we can get those cranked up. I'm kind of interested in that see what they've got. Whether they've got anything that can compete with the PSNs. I mean, because the PSNs is definitely not perfect. But yeah, so yes, that's kind of next 3 out. Going to start focusing on trying to get some more. I've been saying this. I keep saying this. I'm really going to try this. Next week we got Colton. I'm gonna see if maybe I can get a guest for a week after that, and then we'll be off and rolling and try to get some more guests in. Some people smarter than me, so that you guys don't have to keep on listening to me. You can listen to somebody else, and I think that'll make you guys happy. I think, but we will see. I think if there's any other important news, not really any other big changes in the world. Oh, just reminded me, big changes. Been talking about the other podcast. It's gonna be a little. We're trying to get some things ironed out. Convince some people, coax some people over their fears. But so what I'll say is it's coming soon. That's all we got. But yeah. And with that show becoming starting up the network, the Life Pad Network. We cover all facets of life, all over. We're good. Well, for right now, it'll just be we'll cover a wide variety of topics and a bunch of different areas. And at the same time, we kind of try to take and bring God into everything. So that's kind of I guess you call it the mission statement. I should really write something up like that. I should write something up. Maybe I will, and I'll bring that to you as soon as I've got that done. Something a little more. I don't know. Solidify it into a statement. But yeah. That's the end of the show. Till next week. Have fun. Find some trash. Turn it into treasure. And save some money. Okay. I think we're just going to kind of wrap up. Make sure this goes out. Oh, I'll get the show notes out as soon as possible. I shoved some good links in there today. But been a long week. Am I call it a day. Next week. See ya. I don't know why I do that. Why do I go with a 1? Oh, bye. Okay, really, this is bye.